Today, I am live with the very special Marianne Laux, who is one of my amazing clients who I've had the joy of working with inside my 6-month Coach Inner Circle program, which is a hybrid program of some private sessions along with weekly, twice a week group calls, along with many other things included, which I'm sure Marianne will touch on as we get into the interview. But the whole goal of the program is to really help coaches be visible, put themselves out there with confidence, create their first or next offers, and be able to book clients and be able to have a career and take their business seriously when it comes to, getting a certification and then going out there and actually using it. Because what happens a lot of the time is you get your certification and then it kind of sits there and collects dust, and you're not actually coaching people, you're not actually building an audience. And what we do in the Inner Circle is we actually put that certification to use. So before we get into the interview questions, you are listening right now to the Health Coach Nation podcast. I'm your host, Haley Rowe, and I'm a marketing and sales coach and strategist for online service providers, a lot of wellness coaches I work with, a lot of life coaches, people of that nature. And today's free gift of the day, if you're listening, is the Free from Crickets to Clients series, which takes you through how to go about creating what we call a lead magnet to grow your email list so you have a bigger audience to market to. And then from there, how do you turn those leads into sales? So it's available at haleyrowe.com/live event, all one word. And then I just want to highlight, I'm wearing my weird rubber bands for my orthodontic work. So if you're watching the video right now, disregard, that's just going to be how it is right now. So Marianne, thank you for being here. You are a health coach who helps midlife women feel like themselves again with more energy, confidence, and balance. Not long ago, Marianne was doing everything right on paper, but she felt tired, she felt off, disconnected from her body, and what she needed was not a stricter plan, but a gentler one. Slowing down, listening, making small shifts that actually fit into her life. Those changes made all the difference. And today, Marianne guides other women through the same process. Her approach is simple, supportive, and sustainable. She focuses on nourishing habits, realistic routines, and a custom plan that feels doable, not overwhelming. Her clients don't have to push harder or go at it alone. They just need a path that fits them and someone who is compassionate and in their corner. So thank you so much for being here. How are you today, Marianne?
I'm great, and thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure being in your Inner Circle program, and I've always listened to the podcast, so it's an honor to be on it also. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, take us back to when did you decide to get certified as a wellness professional, and what was that process like?
Well, I spent the first 25 years of my career in public education in upstate New York. And during that time, I had an opportunity back in like 2012 to get trained as a cognitive coaching agency trainer. So I was teaching others how to coach. So I was coaching and I was also teaching the process. And I worked with all educators, teachers, counselors, administrators. And then in 2019, my husband and I moved from upstate New York to South Carolina. And during that time, my life was changing, 360 degrees. It was just everything. It was like the carpet was being pulled out from under me. I was leaving a career that I had for 25 years. I was leaving family and friends. And we were doing it because we wanted to, not because we had to. My two oldest kids were grown and on their own. They had already moved out, and everything was different. So I was changing my geography, and then my role as an educator, my role as a mother, all of that was changing at once. And then, of all things, I lost my hair to an autoimmune condition called alopecia. So when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. I didn't feel like myself at all. I was exhausted. And the doctors were all telling me, oh, it's stress related. It's stress related. I'm like, this is just not stress, So when I moved, it was a perfect time for me to transition into something different. And I said, if I have this going on, I need to find out why. And I pursued my certification through the Functional Nutrition Alliance to be a health coach, figure out my own issues, what was going on with me. And it was a perfect time in my life to reinvent myself and find my new purpose. My purpose has always been teaching, so I'm very passionate about that. So I took what I knew from teaching and cognitive coaching, applied it with my functional nutrition counseling training, and I started coaching.
I love that. Yeah. And oftentimes it is, going through your own issues that causes you to dive deeper and then realize I'm going to help other people with this because I can't be the only one dealing with symptoms that are unexplained and you can't figure out. So when it comes to the, fast forward to you finish your certification, what were some of the question marks or things you were confused about or overwhelmed about, now that you were like, okay, I'm certified, what do I do next?
Yeah, exactly. So there was a period of time where, and I was very much not confident at that time at all because I was in a new place. When I was in New York, everyone knew me. They knew to come to me. They knew the services I offered. They knew what our office did. Here, well, number one, I went 2 years without my hair just because I had to build my own confidence up. So I was walking around. I was the bald lady, and I do wear wigs now, just for the audience. So every time you see me with hair, it's wigs because it's much warmer.
Yeah, but your hair, it looks great all the time. So,
and I always tell people if they stop me, I say, "You too can have this hair. I'll give it to you." But I did have a period of time. Plus, now looking back, I realized I was going through my perimenopause and everything during that time too. So I didn't want to say I was a hot mess because I don't like to think of myself like that. I just think that I was in a really tough spot because I was trying to figure it out. And between you and I don't think I ever told you this, Haley, but in college, my first thing that I went to college for back in the day was business. And unfortunately, I failed out. They literally asked me not to come back.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. But I was meant to be an educator. Like I realized I was meant to be an educator. And now in my 50-something self, I realized that there was, a lot of things I didn't know about business. I didn't know how to market myself. I really wasn't fluent on any of the social media platforms at all. I'm very good about talking up somebody else, but I had a hard time, because I was still building confidence as a coach, as an individual. And I did spend 3 years running a weight loss clinic. So I got tons of coaching experience, more experience running a business, but I still had gaps in my knowledge. I didn't know. I had a website. It wasn't great. I took some courses here and there. So I knew a little bit about lead magnets, a little bit about social media, but a lot of it was how do you post things to get people's how do you hit that emotional spot to them? And that's something that you really taught me was, how do you present the urgency and scarcity? How do you really identify, like, how do you put into words what your client is feeling and how you can help them solve their problem? So that was something that you really helped me with between going over my website and giving me hints there, just how to pose your some of your wording in a post or an email. You review things for me, just giving me that other perspective. I always thrived best on a team, and that was something that was missing. And you've kind of been that team person for me, looking over things for me and giving me feedback. So a lot of it was just organizing the business pieces to run both an online and online and in-person business and communicating to my ideal client.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were working at the weight loss clinic, was it that they gave you the leads or did you have to find them all yourself?
Well, that was the thing there. It was a combination. So we had a marketing person, but we were, the small office that we were in, we didn't get as much advertising and things like that. So what I got really good at was they were coming in as warm leads, and I was able to do what we would discover, in our, what we would call a discovery call. I called it initial consultation there. I was really good at doing that piece of it where they were coming in as a warm lead anyway. So I had a hard time when I, decided to go out on my own. Where do I find the people? And the nice thing was I have always had this, part-time job at a wellness store. I've had that job for almost 6 years now, just kind of on the side. So I'm in front of people all the time who are looking to get healthier. And, they come in and I'm in menopause. I can't lose weight. I'm having a hard time sleeping. My digestion is off, all of the things. And now I can target them a little bit better, and I have more of a service to offer them.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people I talk to who are in wellness, they get maybe a job like working at an app company or something like that where it is they feel really solid on if you send me leads, I could close them. Like I got that part down. But so many of them are like, but if I was doing this on my own and I had to find the leads and get the leads and connect with new people, I don't know where to start on that part. And so you were kind of in that position where you were really good at, the coaching part, you felt confident about. You had experience with discovery calls, but you were like, in my own business, I want to have more people I can be working with. And one of the other things that you mentioned was you felt unclear or fuzzy around your message. So tell me a little bit about obviously we did a website audit, we did some content audits and helping you with writing emails and things like that. What were some things that, became more clear for you when it comes to your niche, your message, things like that, and your offer in general?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest things is I needed to think differently. So, and you always say this, that we don't have to be salesy. So I've really changed. And a lot of what you do is mindset coaching, and a lot of it has been that mindset shift from I'm selling my service, and from going from scarcity to the service, which is always like where my heart is anyway. Like, oh, I want to serve, I want to help people. And I think that when you position yourself so that you can offer solutions to problems, it doesn't feel salesy, it feels service based, and that always feels better. So a lot of it was just tweaking the messaging. And now I know, now I know the kinds of phrases. There's some like go-to phrases that I have, and ways to present things so that it doesn't feel salesy. It feels like, let me help you. Just like anyone walking in the store would ask me questions, I feel very comfortable just helping. So going from salesy to service minded was a big mindset shift for me, and something you really, really helped with.
Awesome. Yeah. And it becomes more natural to talk about when you're in that mindset. So, what about when it comes to just other things that you entered the program kind of feeling really confused about or stuck on? Was there anything that we worked through that, led to wins, or tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So when we first started, one of the things that you really help, and you always talk about this, is reducing social media overwhelm. So I was really hesitant because I was just being a stick in the mud about, social media. And I've gotten to the point where I feel better about posting a video. I've posted several videos, pictures of myself. Don't love pictures of myself to begin with. Putting them out there was so weird. I've gotten more fluent in using Canva. I typically focus on Facebook just because number one, it is my comfort zone. And number two, I do have people, I have a following. I'm increasing my following, but so I have gotten better at consistency on Facebook too. And then also, I do have a website with a blog and email. And I do consistently do a weekly blog and a weekly email to my list. So those were some things that, I just was able to. You teach us a lot about time blocking and things like that too. So managing my time when I don't have a 9 to 5 was also kind of overwhelming to me. And sometimes I'd find myself just kind of spinning in circles. I'm still working on it, but I definitely have more strategies. So putting my message out there consistently was definitely something that you helped enforce. And also, besides just online, presenting myself in public and talking locally, sharing my information with local practitioners and other similar providers, like thinking outside the box of right now I've got a workshop or a retreat coming up in January. I'm collaborating with a woman who wrote a journal called When the Clock Strikes Midlife. And I only reached out and connected with her because you talked to us about connecting with other people on Facebook. And I just put it out there that I'm looking to collaborate with other practitioners. And, she just reached out to me, and I didn't know her from Adam. And now we're hosting a retreat together. So you made me think about different ways besides just advertising, but making connections. And I'm getting better at that.
I love that. Yeah. So, I mean, part of the journey, and when I work with clients, is we determine what is going to be your platforms you focus on and what's going to be the ways you're connecting with new people every week. Because at the end of the day, the amount of offers you're making and people you're connecting with, minus how many no's you're getting, is your business, is how many sales you're going to have, right? And for you, we decided, okay, you like Facebook, you're more comfortable with it. That can be your main social platform. You've been very, very consistent, as you said, with your blog, which is amazing. And you've gotten very comfortable doing local workshops, some local marketing, some local partnerships, and now venturing into the online partnerships with the retreat person, maybe some podcast interviews, things like that. So notice how she expanded her branches as we went. It wasn't like, oh, in week 1, we're going to load all of these all at the same time. It's kind of like, let's get a system for Facebook. You're going to do this many posts per week. Let's start connecting with collab partners. Here's what we're going to say. You have a system now with what you could say to those people, things like that. So one of the results of that was you booked some paying clients. So tell us a little bit about, just some of the wins you've had, like getting your course made, things like that.
Yeah. So honestly, since I've invested in coaching with you, I've made back my money and then some. I mean, it was really, yay. Yeah. So that's like, I sat down a while ago, I was doing my numbers, which you encourage us and, take care of our, finances and things. And I was like, I did it. I didn't, it kind of snuck up on me. So I definitely made back my investment with one-on-one clients. I've also done several workshops, both online and in-person workshops locally. I have made connections where I've been on another podcast it's a local podcast on wellness, Elevate Wellness. It's local to the Myrtle Beach area here. So again, that was just from reaching out on Facebook that I had never really thought of before. So I've had one-on-one clients, and I have some clients who have signed up for a second round. I do a 3-month coaching program with them. My brain works in like 3-month chunks at a time. So I've decided that I'm going to work through with that. So I've had clients sign up for a second round, which is great. I've had some referrals. I've also just found the importance of nurturing those people who've been waiting in the wings for a long time. I currently have 2 clients that are starting with me this month that I've been nurturing for months now. And I just encourage anybody out there to just like keep doing it, because they'll jump in when they're ready. Let's see. I've also I've had the confidence to actually complete a 6-week course, and I ran it as like a beta course. And I had, some paying clients, some were friends who I just said, try it out. So I've created a ton of resources, and Haley, you're a great role model for that. Because if you ever work with Haley, I mean, all you have to say is, do you have something for this? And she's like, yeah, let me just pop that right up there. So she has a wealth of resources, templates, all kinds of things that just make your life easier. She's done the hard work. She's been doing this for years. So I'm trying to like model after her, be that person. All the stuff I've been doing over coaching over the last 5 or 6 years, I have organized. So when people need things, or I create things on the spot, for an individual client, and then I may use it with somebody else. So the resources, the one-on-one clients, the workshops, the course, podcasts, those things have all come over the past few months just working with you, and it's opened new doors for me.
That's awesome. I love that. And one of the things you mentioned earlier was you started to do some videos and post pictures of yourself and things like that online, which for anybody wanting to build an online brand and be a personal brand, it is scary to shift into that world. It feels a little bit unnatural, but you've opened up to it. And, I've seen your Facebook posts and people cheering you on and you getting support with that. And so tell me a little bit about advice you'd give to somebody who's like, yeah, I'm also stuck with that. I also feel weird about that. Any advice that got you to finally start doing that?
Yeah, get over yourself. You are your worst critic. Like I look at my stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, but basically I think maybe Haley, you've said this before. I know I've heard it from other people as well, is if you don't put yourself out there, it's almost like being selfish, because then you're gatekeeping all this information and the things that you can share with people. And you don't know if there's just that one person out there that all they need to do is see you talk about one small thing that could inspire them, change their life, make them feel better, or just have them, something to relate to. And there's a lot of really bad stuff out there, but you can be the good stuff. You can be the stuff that people look forward to looking for. And if they don't like you, it doesn't matter. Somebody once gave the analogy that not everybody likes peaches. No, not everybody likes peaches. That's all there is to it. If you like me, fine, I'll be happy to help you. If you don't, that's okay too. So I think the biggest thing is just getting over yourself, which I'm still working on.
Oh my gosh, aren't we all? But yes, you make such a good point. And it's like a proud coach moment, because look at you setting the example too for your clients. Maybe they have, maybe they're not business owners, but they have areas of their life where they're shy or they're hiding or they feel self-conscious about their body or their weight or things like that. And really it takes you out of life, serving people, doing what you love with others, things like that. So you're setting a really good example for them. And one of the other things too, that sometimes, so we'll get into now, like with the group program, things you maybe liked about it, things that you found interesting about it. One of the things that I try to do in there is if I find a job op, or if I find, an opportunity for a podcast or something like that, or someone on Threads looking for a health coach, like I will be like, guys, here, do that, like comment, do this. And one of the things that you've done is partner with somebody to help them with their coaching practice and be a coach for them. So you don't have to share too many details, but what's that been like? How has that been going?
Oh yeah, that was great. I've been trying. I always do better when I'm working with someone. So in the Slack channel that we use for Inner Circle, Haley had just kind of posted, hey, if any health coaches are looking, this doctor's looking to collaborate with a health coach. I was like, oh, let me reach out. What the heck? So sure enough, I reached out to this physician. She has a functional medicine practice, and she was looking for a health coach to do the health coaching portion of it. So as of right now, I think I have 6 or 7 of her clients that she's referred to me. And I like this. This was really comfortable for me because I didn't have to go out and find them. She just refers them to me. They book on my link, and then I'm able to service them. So it's a little bit different, but it's definitely like it's because of you that I even had that introduction. And Haley, you do that all the time. You're always looking out for us in the Inner Circle, and it's really it's really helpful because it also helps me think differently, because I'm like, oh, I'd love to do this with local doctors, but you were able to introduce me to somebody that I work with remotely now. So it's just added to my services that I'm able to offer for people.
Totally. And it's really fun to diversify sometimes and nice
Oh,
to have, a couple different streams of clients coming in with different opportunities. And what about with the group? Was there anything in particular that you liked about the inner circle, the modules, or, the group community or anything like that?
oh yeah. So to start with, the group is it's so nice to be a part of a group of like-minded people. And not everybody were health coaches. We had Ayurvedic doctors, people who were working with hormones, essential oil scent therapists, all kinds of, different talents. And also they're all in different ages and stages of both their lives and their careers. And one thing I always like about a group is that we can learn from each other. So Haley, being the ultimate facilitator, always having resources for us. The modules that she puts up, they're organized very well. There's videos, there's resources, documents that you can download, use what you need, put the other stuff aside, templates. I mean, just a lot of support. Everything is recorded also. So on the nights that I would be, have to work and not be able to make the call live, you can always submit a question in Slack. She answers it for you every time. Always checks in. And then also there's recordings of every meeting that we have. So if I missed something, I was always able to catch up. But you've just cultivated such a nice community, and everyone is so supportive. There's the nicest thing about it was everyone's so encouraging. And Haley, you're always great about calling people out on their wins. We reflect every week on what went well, and then planning for the next week. So it's really a good reflective practice as well. So it's both personal and group and learning and the one-on-one with you. It's just been an amazing altogether experience.
That's awesome. And, let's face it, there's never a perfect time to do coaching. You had travel at one point in the middle of coaching. You had an illness at one point during coaching. What would you say to somebody who's like, yeah, like that sounds good, but like it's not the right time, or they're hesitating because they think there's going to be a perfect moment or a perfect time?
Let's equate it to like having kids. You can try as much as you want to get the perfect time, but if you don't just jump in and do it, it may never happen. And it depends on how bad you want it for yourself. I had told, Haley some, personal stuff that we had going on. My husband was sick, and then I was sick. We hadn't been sick in years, and it kind of all hit. And sometimes I say, oh, was this the best time to invest? It couldn't have been a better time. I really needed to have that training, that confidence, because if you put it off and put it off, it's never going to happen for you. And sometimes it's not about investing in coaching per se. It's about investing in yourself. And some of the guest experts that you've had on, they talk about that too, the importance of investing in yourself. And if you really want something bad enough, you're going to make it happen. And this has been a good investment for me, for sure.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. There's never that perfect time, even though we wish there would be, or maybe there is, but you never know if you're going to strike at that moment and crush it, or be able to have kids at that time or whatever.
Right, right.
So I think that one of the other things I wanted to ask you is, going forward, what are you excited about for the new year? What are you working on now? What's the latest?
Yeah. So, like I said before, for the new year, I do have an in-person retreat coming up on January 24th. So I'm working on that. It's just a day retreat. I really would like to go into longer retreats because I am yoga certified and things like that too. So I'd love to have some sort of, like my ultimate goal would be, 4 retreats a year kind of a thing. We do live in a resort type area. There's lots of beautiful beaches and places around here, but we're doing an in-person retreat with my friend who wrote the journal, Cindy Lopez. So that's going on in January. I'm really continuing to refine my my coaching practice, and also just expanding my reach a little bit more. So I want to try to get more one-on-one coaching clients. I know that after the new year, everyone wants a good start, but my goal is going to be to not just, have that health goal be my January thing. I want people to have better health long term. And a lot of women in midlife are looking for that, whether it's their weight loss, their energy, just being able to keep up with their grandchildren. I want people to be able to have that. So I'm going to really focus on expanding my 3-month program into even more resources, possibly incorporating some learning modules in there as well. And then also I have a collaboration with my friend who owns the store that I work at, and we're going to be doing some workshops in person there and continuing to work on collaborating with the community. I really would like to build a health and wellness community in my area. And I think that that's going to be an important thing for me in 2026. And you've given me a lot of the resources to help me make that happen.
Amazing. I love it. So is there anything else you want to share with the audience, either about just your own business, or in general, if they're listening and they're thinking about doing the Inner Circle?
Yeah. As far as my business goes, I do work both in person and remotely. And my website is mariannelaux.com. And I do help people work through through my GPS model. I have a model that I've developed because with coaching, we take you from where you are to where you want to be. So we use the GPS model to get you there. I work with you on goal setting. The P is for planning. We plan for the challenges that you have to reach your goals. And then the S is for shifting. We do a lot of reflection on what's working and what's not, and create a plan specific for you. I also do have my freebie, which is my Grounded and Glowing Guide, which you can find on my website at mariannelaux.com. That's just, I focus on 5 key pillars of health, which are sleep, exercise, nutrition, stress management, and relationships. So all of those are the core basics of functional health. So we focus on those, and that freebie is a great way for you just to get started. As far as Inner Circle goes, I can't recommend it enough. I had listened to your podcast for quite a while before I signed up for Inner Circle. So I knew a lot of the information that you shared, but I wasn't expecting what I would get out of it. And just, it's so good to have a different perspective. Just like with my health coaching clients, we think we're doing all the things right. We're doing the best we can. But once you get with a coach, whether it's your health coach or your business coach, that person is an outside person who's going to give you a different perspective and help you get to where you want to go. So Inner Circle all the way.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you for being here. Everybody check out her freebie and, keep tabs on her because she's going to continue to be blowing up and crushing it. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Haley.